Well, it's time to go on the docket with attorney John Patrick Dolan as he breaks down all your legal news. And today we're talking about the big case that everybody's talking about, John Edwards. Tell us what's going to be going on this week with that.
Well, it's time for the defense to put on their case, and most of the people that have been interviewed about the case think that Edwards is going to take the witness stand, and there is that possibility. Although I have to tell you, as a criminal defense lawyer, what you do as you evaluate a situation like that is you decide, can I prove what I want to prove without my client going on the witness stand? Because if I can, I don't have to subject him to cross-examination. And that's the real challenge here. John Edwards has been battered as far as his credibility, and it could get worse in cross-examination. So a good defense lawyer is going to say, is there a way for me to prove up? In fact, this is what they've been trying to do during the prosecution's case, to prove up that he didn't know. And if I can get to the point of getting my closing argument to the jury without having to put my witness on the witness stand, my client, I would want to do that. So I wouldn't be surprised if he testifies, but I wouldn't be surprised if he decides, or his counsel decides, that he should not testify. We'll find out in the next week.
Well, his attorney has a lot of work then.
Yes, yes.
Tell us about Earl Elias Green. What's happening there?
Well, the verdict came in last week, first-degree murder. You'll remember that the contest was about, is this second-degree murder or first-degree murder? Is it premeditated, or is it something that was a spur of the moment? The jury found first-degree murder with the special circumstance of killing a police officer. And so now the second phase takes place, the penalty phase, and the jury, the same jury that found him guilty of first-degree murder, will be asked to make a recommendation, a verdict of death or a verdict of life without the possibility of parole. The interesting spinoff on this, as you know, is the death penalty is on the November ballot. So it could happen that he could get a death verdict and still be relieved of the death verdict, depending upon how the citizenry votes in November. But usually when you have a case where a jury finds first-degree murder with special circumstances, they're leaning toward death anyway because it's the same jury, and that's probably what will happen in this case, although we'll see once the trial is over with in the second phase.
Now, we also have a case in Fullerton where we had some police officers who were accused of beating up a homeless person. Tell us the latest with that case.
Well, they had a preliminary hearing. That's a hearing to determine is there probable cause to go forward. And it's pretty extraordinary that police officers are charged with murder, but there's a second-degree murder bindover, they call it, after the prelim on Officer Ramos and the other officer, a voluntary manslaughter. So two police officers now are facing intentional killing charges, one with second-degree murder, one with voluntary manslaughter, and that case is set for arraignment in what they call the Court of General Jurisdiction here the end of the week, and then there'll be a 60-day period, although that can be waived, for trial to go forward. It's a very sad situation because it was a young homeless man, and apparently there's video and audio that's been matched up where the officer that is charged with second-degree murder says, "I'm going to F you up." And they've got that. And the interesting thing about this case, too, is the District Attorney of Orange County, Tony Rackauckus, like Paul Zellerbach here in Riverside County, went and put on the prelim. That's almost unheard of.
Wow. Very interesting case. Well, thank you so much for filling us in, and we'll see you back here next Monday.
Indeed.
And of course, if you want to get a hold of John Patrick Dolan, or if you find yourself in trouble, all you have to do is go to www.dolanlawoffices.com.